Welcome to another episode of Dawnversations with Anthony. Hi, Anthony. How's it
Hi,
going?
Don. How are you?
Good. No guest today. We're just gonna chat about
Just
random
gonna
stuff.
spill the tea, I guess. Is that what we're gonna do?
Well, I don't really have any tea. Not that
We could
interesting.
spill the coffee, which is, I don't know, maybe more boring.
Well, we were just talking about the Grammys. I don't watch the Grammys. I don't know anybody that's on anything. I listen to Spotify to my little liked list. So I don't even know the Kendrick, whatever. He's going to be the entertainment for Super Bowl. I'm like, who is that? I don't,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
Kendrick Lamar or whatever. I
Well,
didn't.
on Super Bowl Sunday, though, because you'll definitely watch it, right? So,
Yes, we have a
yes.
Chiefs fan in the house, and he did order me a sweatshirt to wear for that day.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
I'll
Woo.
be I'll be all dressed and ready for that. Okay, so I wanted to do a recap. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about health today, or maybe a lot about health, but I wanted to do a recap and find out how 75 hard is going for you. How many days are you in right now?
Oh, gosh. I am 31 days in, I think. So I'm
Good.
almost, at the time of this airing, I'll probably be past the halfway point, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's funny because the first time super focused, Dawn, right? It's new. Like if you trained for your first marathon, you are focused.
Yeah.
And the second time, like I know I can do it. I've survived it. It's not as arduous. I will say though, it's been rainy and going outside and working out twice a day in the rain is not fun. And I'm very cold and wet some days, and I'm
Yeah.
surprised all my clothes are not water resistant for some reason in California.
Yeah.
Uh, and the drinking thing has been harder this time.
Have you
It,
succumbed? Have you
oh
drank?
no, 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 I
Oh,
haven't succumbed.
you
No.
know, it's so funny that your reaction because I made a comment to you on a different time, and I was like, "Well, if you don't finish," and you were like, "What?" Like that
Yeah,
would never, for
no.
me, that's how I talk. Like, well, if I can do this, it's
I
never. And you were
mean,
like, "It's happening."
yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it, right? I mean,
Good for you.
there's
That's awesome.
no quitting, right? There's no quitting. I mean, I guess if I got sick or injured or something like that. But yeah, if I set a goal, I'm not gonna not do it. I'm gonna set that goal.
That's
But I don't set a
admirable.
hundred little goals, except for weight goals, Don. Weight goals over the course of my life, those haven't actually worked out as how I hoped.
How does that work though? Because 75 hard sounds extremely difficult to me,
Yeah,
especially doing two workouts. So do you manage to lose weight doing it? Is that a
you
byproduct
do.
of it? Okay.
I mean, you definitely do. I bought a vest, a weighted vest too. So my second outdoor, whatever it is, the day, usually a long walk or something, I'll put on the vest. So I'm putting on some pounds. Oh, you probably lose 10 pounds the first 3 weeks, you know?
Whoa.
But you're working out twice a day, Don. I don't work out twice a day, I
Yeah.
mean, that's just not my routine. So if you level up, obviously you're going to lose a little bit of weight. So that's a good thing. Uh, the alcohol thing, again, that's hard for some people. It's not hard if you just focus, right? But there have been moments where, I went to a happy hour and everybody had a Manhattan and I'm looking around the table thinking, God, it'd be nice to have a Manhattan right now. I
Yeah.
didn't,
Yeah.
but I felt the urge, right?
Right.
And we do have Super Bowl coming up, which, of course, that's a very drinking holiday if there is one. But I'll be fine. I'll be prepared for it, right?
Yeah. So will you do like fake beer?
I will.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
And
probably do
then what
fake.
about at the bar? What did you drink?
I had a soda.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to a happy hour tonight, as luck would have it, with another couple, and they don't know. I don't think they know I'm not drinking. So they're gonna be, oh God, Anthony's a lot of fun tonight. But we'll.
Isn't that interesting though, that you
I
think
know.
that people would think that you're not fun just
I
because you're
know.
not drinking?
I mean, you've lived this, right? You've lived, and maybe there's a small portion of people that may think that about you, but everybody probably not, right? They just think it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
I feel like, well, I don't know how everybody else feels. It would be interesting to know, but I just feel like it's so nice to be so aware,
Yeah.
like not in the present, kind of way, but just aware. And the next morning, remembering the whole,
Yeah.
everything that happened, everything I said, I'm
Yeah.
still gonna put my foot in my mouth, but it's,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just that feeling of, Oh, last night was fun. It was fun when this happened, but when I was drinking, it was just, oh, I had fun. I don't know what
Yeah.
anybody else was doing, but I was having fun. And so it's just a different perspective. But I got together with a couple of my drinking friends, and they're good friends of mine. I've known them since I was 19. And I told them, I said, you guys, I don't even think about it anymore.
Yeah.
And they were like, that is truly crazy. It
And
is.
you don't do not my mom does non-alcoholic wine or a mocktail or something like that. You
Mhm.
don't do that, huh?
No.
What will you drink on Super Bowl?
Oh, we just have sparkling water, so
You'll
I'll
just
just
have
drink
sparkling
that.
water.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we try different kinds. That's my how I get my variety.
Woo!
Yeah. It's like, ooh, they made a new flavor. It all kind
We
of tastes
just
the
lost
same.
everyone under 30 demographic right there. Gone.
There is a beer, I forget who makes it, but it's called Upside Dawn is the flavor.
Oh, that's
Upside
funny.
Dawn. Yeah, and it's kind of citrusy, and I've had that. I tried that like right after I quit.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not opposed to it, but it doesn't have the reason why you
Yeah.
drink. So I just don't see the reason to drink it. Why do the calories
Yeah. Yeah,
if
you're right. I have a buddy who says, well, I can go out with you and have two beers and then go home and do 100 push-ups, or I cannot have to do 100 push-ups because I had water all night. Well,
yeah,
okay. You
yeah.
know,
So do you end up just walking? Is that your exercise?
yeah, with Zoe kind of home on and off, I'm not doing yoga in the morning as much, but she got an apartment in San Francisco, so I am becoming an empty nester next week.
Like
Uh,
official.
all over again, right? She's been here since May, so she's jettisoning out with three roommates in the city, and yeah, and so I think when Zoe leaves, I'll jump back into yoga in the morning and then a walk at night,
Mhm.
right?
I was doing Tai Chi. I tried it and I like it, but I feel like, is it enough? But I just recently started doing resistance bands.
Oh,
And,
Tai
and
Chi seems very meditative, would it not be?
yeah,
Like you're
I'm using an
spiritually
app.
kind of in it? I've never done
Yeah,
it.
I'm using an app, and right now I'm just learning the key parts of it. Like they're introducing you 15 minutes at a time. So it's like, you've burned 12 calories. It's not intense. But then I think they put all those things together. And then it all becomes, and I'll let you know. I don't know because
But
I
you're
just
doing bands separately. You're not doing
separate.
Tai Chi with bands, are you?
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm doing it separate. But I can tell, and I'm not in shape, but I mean, I can tell that just random movements. I'm like, oh, I
It
used
is a
this
new
yesterday.
dawn for a
Yeah.
Dawn's health. That's where we are right now. So do you want to
Yes.
talk about your turning point?
Yes. So I just got done being sick from babysitting grandkids, and that's just what goes along with it. They're, adorable little petri dishes. But my husband and I are both went and got physicals, and he went before I did, and he got his colonoscopy all lined up and got all these appointments lined up. And I thought, okay, it kind of inspired me. So I have never had a colonoscopy, and you're supposed to get them at
Oh,
50.
yeah.
And my dad had passed away with colon cancer and
Mhm.
liver. So it's definitely something I should not be putting off. And it's on my mom's side too. So I need to get it done. And then I had put off a mammogram. So next week, no, tomorrow, mammogram. And then Valentine's Day, I'll be getting a
Oh,
colonoscopy.
isn't that nice? Gosh.
My husband and I will be spending some quality time together, but he had
Yeah.
his today. And so I got to kind of get a, precursor of what it's going to be. And I'm proud of him for doing it. And now it's all behind him, done, all the prep work and stuff, though. God, I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah, everybody has to do it, right? You have to do it at
Yeah.
50. You
Yeah.
just do. And it's one of those things that's scarier than it really is, right? I mean, it builds up as this huge deal, but they wheeled Nathan in. He
Hmm.
was asleep in three
Yeah.
seconds.
Yep.
He woke up, didn't know what happened 2.5 hours later. You gave
Right.
him some juice and cookies and then took him home, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the
That's it.
process.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Okay. So the process, so that people know, because I didn't know. And we were like Googling how far do they go in for the colonoscopy? What is the camera action? It was all foreign to us. Now, granted, I am almost 54 and I was supposed to get one at 50.
Yeah, but Don, it is the scary medical procedure
Yeah.
that everyone once they turn like 40 knows it's coming, right?
Yeah. And
I
you
mean,
hear
nobody
about it.
cares about the eye appointment. No, by that time you've had cavities or crowns or whatever, but just something about going in somewhere, having someone look into your intestine, it just makes people nervous. And
Yeah. Yeah. And I've
it's
had
not
three
that bad.
kids. I've had three kids. Uh,
Yeah.
my my first child, I had I'm going to say normal way in air quotes. I don't want to offend anyone. And then the other two were C-section.
Yeah.
I also have had a hysterectomy. So I've had IVs, I've had surgeries, and
Yeah.
but I am still nervous about this. But anyway, so yeah, we were Googling, we were wondering. So Nathan scheduled his, and then I scheduled mine a few days later. So I was kind of like, okay, I'll just watch how this happens for him. Well, we both have two different doctors, and his doctor prescribed Gatorade with Miralax. Miralax is over the counter. You just go. So
And I don't even know what Miralax is. What is Miralax?
it's a laxative, and a lot of older people will have it because things slow down when you get
Oh,
older, and
yeah,
so it
yeah.
just kind of helps. If you take it,
Speed
it
things
keeps you
up.
more regular. Keeps you more regular.
And this is a thing you need to clean everything
You
out,
need
right?
to,
That's
because they say if you do not, the procedure is canceled, done.
I have a friend that has to go back
Yeah.
because she didn't fully purge.
Yeah. So, and I was just talking to my mom on the phone before we started recording this, and she said she knew a lady who did the whole process, did it to the letter, and there was a snowstorm and they had to cancel
Oh
it.
gosh.
I would have flipped out. I would have been like, I'm going to that doctor's house. But
Okay, so
anyway,
how many ounces of Miralax and Gatorade?
okay. So, what he had to do was take 4 Dulcolax pills. That's a stool softener. So that just makes things a little easier for you. And then a few hours later, an anti nausea pill,
Oh,
because you are not allowed to eat for 24 hours.
yeah, it makes sense, right? The point
Yeah.
is to get everything out, right?
Yeah. So yesterday morning, I think he had black coffee, but otherwise, that's it. No food.
I mean,
And
Nathan is just intermittent fasting. He lost 5 pounds. He's looking good right now. Now is where you take your Valentine's
yeah.
photo right now.
And
Okay.
he's not used to not eating. He is used to eating on a regimen. He's a very
Yeah.
routine person. But anyway, okay, so we got fasting. Take your 4 Dulcolax. Then you take a couple hours later, you take your anti-nausea pill because you're going to be nauseous from drinking all of this stuff. So Miralax
Yeah.
is just a laxative, get everything out. He had to mix it in a huge pitcher, so 32 ounces
Yeah.
of Gatorade. But they say you can do water, you can't do any alcohol, you can't do any fruit juices,
Right.
you can't do
Yeah.
anything. Right. Yeah. I
Yeah, I
know.
made a 32-ounce Mai Tai, and I'm gonna do just pound that before I
I
go to
thought
the
this was
doctor.
supposed to be torture. This feels
This is great.
I'm on vacation right now. So you drink, 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 and then you have to wait a few minutes, 10 minutes, we'll say, and then drink some more. And then you have to wait a few hours. And then but you have to drink it all.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
drink it all. And then you make friends with your bathroom because
You
that's
do.
where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I did not ask the specifics of that.
Yeah.
His stomach was making all kinds of terrible noises. You could hear
Yeah.
from across the room. But from what I've heard, the first 2 to 3 trips to the bathroom are the most successful. And then
Yes.
after that, you're losing a lot of water. So
Yeah.
that's as
Which is good
graphic as I'm going to
because
get
it's
about
good
that.
because that's what you want, right?
Yes.
Everything gets out and then it's just, fluid is just cycling through you and you are clean and you are ready, right?
Yes,
But
because you don't want to have to do it again.
yeah, the
You know,
toughest part for me and my friends, but I think technology has gotten better over time, is the two 32-ounce things that I
yes.
had to drink.
Yes.
They didn't give me any pills. They just gave me some powdery stuff that I mixed in 32 ounces, and it was kind of orangey, and it was awful. and I pounded it like I have never pounded it. I mean, it was like a beer bong in high school. I drank that thing down as quick as I opened my throat and poured it down, and then beeline for the bathroom, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You're not running errands that day. This is not,
No,
we're going to be out
no,
about the town.
inviting people over. Hey,
So yeah, but I have a different doctor and she has a different method. And apparently the method that she's using is a cleaner method, and they are slowly trying to convert the Miralax other situations into this other stuff.
what's your method?
I forget what it's called. I
Is
need
it a
to look.
pill or is it just
No,
a?
it's still drinks. It's still
It still
drinks.
drinks.
But I will drink mine, and then in the middle of the night, 6 hours before I'm there, I have to drink the drink again.
Yeah,
So I'm
that's
drinking
what
the drink
happened to
that,
me.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's that procedure. So it seemed like Nathan's was, I don't want to say easy, but it seemed like, he just had to drink that drink once and then he was done. And he
yeah,
slept through the night, but I'll probably get to sleep a little bit, but then I'll have to get up about 4 in the morning, drink another 32
yeah,
ounces, and then just make sure that everything is taken care of. And then
yeah.
I go there.
I mean,
So,
it's not horrible. It's just inconvenient. And I think there's some people that can't swallow big pills. I could take a handful of pills, put them in my mouth and swallow it, right? No
oh,
problem.
God.
But I think Karen is not a person who can chug. She can't chug something. So if you have an inability to drink liquid quickly and you
Mm-hmm.
have to drink 32 ounces of something that doesn't taste good,
Right.
that's an arduous process. And I don't
Yeah.
want to stop anyone from getting a
No,
colonoscopy.
no, no.
Get the colonoscopy. But for some people, that's the struggle, right? I have to drink 32 ounces twice of something I don't really drink. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, 32 ounces of gross is hard, right?
Yeah, so I'll have to see if mine is gross because I don't know, since it's totally different. And it was through the pharmacy. It wasn't just over the counter. So I don't know how, if it's gonna, I'll stay tuned. I'll let you know.
But
But
Nathan got Gatorade. I got just powdery, gross orange stuff. He
yeah.
could have picked any Gatorade. He could have picked the red one or the
Yeah,
orange one or the
no,
blue
you
one.
can't do red, blue, or purple, I think are the
Oh,
colors. For sure not red. And you can't do Jello, when you're fasting or,
right,
limiting your diet. Oh yeah, because it's clear broth. You can do like clear broth
right.
or
Yeah.
anything that you can see through is what the doctor said. So that'll be me on the 13th. Thursday the 13th. I'll just be, and I like yesterday, I barely ate because I didn't want to eat in front of Nathan. I felt like that was rude. So I had an apple, and I'm fine with the fasting part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, colonoscopy, get the drink, drink the drink, you go in, uh, and then they give you an IV and you are out
Immediately.
immediately. And then he woke up. He was giggly, and the nurse came and got me and said, "Wow, you've got a cheap date here." And I said, "Oh gosh." And so then I went in, and yeah, he was loosey goosey, repeating himself, whatever. But probably how he was dealing with me on boxed wine.
Yeah.
It's revenge, Nathan's revenge. And that's it. He had a polyp, they removed it, and they
I
said
think
polyps
that's
are
cool too.
common.
Like if they find something, they
They
take care
just
of it,
get it.
right?
Yeah.
This isn't an appointment where they're going back mostly, right? They
Yeah.
they they
Yeah.
take care of it there, right?
And that is another great thing. Yeah. So they brought
Yeah.
out pictures and they said, here it is. And even if it's precancerous, it's gone.
Yeah.
So there, we'll just tell you. And that determines how much sooner you have to be back.
Doesn't
Yeah.
sound
But
right.
nobody likes to talk about this stuff. So I thought it would be good for us to talk about what exactly it involves for the person that is curious, that might have to do
Yeah.
it in the next 5 to 1 years, and just find out what exactly is it all about. And that's
But
really the gist of it. It's not a big deal.
yeah, and the good
Inconvenient.
takeaway is Nathan did it, got it done. They found something, they took care of it. You picked him up, he was loopy, and he's up and around right now. I mean,
Yeah.
in the same day, right?
Yeah.
So Dawn is doing this T minus 10 days from now. So
While everyone else is buying chocolates and flowers, I
yeah,
will be getting my first colonoscopy. And I
yeah,
will yeah, I'll reveal the how it went one of these episodes.
you're
We'll do
gonna
a
do
catch up.
fine.
Yeah,
You'll be
I'll be fine.
great.
Yeah. I'll be great. So you've had one?
Yeah, I've had one, but it would not be my magical Valentine's Day thing. I gotta say that, Don.
I've
I mean,
never been into
your
Valentine's
timing
Day.
is not necessarily impeccable,
Well,
you
she's like,
know.
nobody is taking this time slot. I'm like, I'll take it. I don't care. I've never been big on Valentine. Do you guys do Valentine's?
We do, but not big. I'm not a Hallmark holiday guy, you know.
Amen. I just
Yeah,
don't buy into any of that. And I just feel
yeah,
like I would rather get flowers any other day, just
yeah.
out of the blue.
Every non-romantic person in the world thinks they're, Rico Suave on
Right.
February 14th because they got a card and some, I agree. I just think it's great for Hallmark, but I'd rather show up other times.
Yeah, right. Yeah, when it's not on the calendar. It just feels like it means more, but yeah. So that's what I'll be doing on Valentine's Day. This might actually air on Valentine's Day. So
Are you doing the whole physical thing? Are you going to do the full
I
physical, like an
did.
annual
So I
physical?
yes, so I got my blood work all done and my cholesterol, my parents had high cholesterol, so I guess you can get that
Yeah.
hereditary. Because I don't eat bad. And, and then here I've quit drinking for a year and a half. So it's like,
Yeah.
I hope it pays off. But my body, I feel like, is still recovering from it. And then I have arthritis in my neck. And so I've been taking a lot, or I have been taking a lot of Tylenol or acetaminophen. And so my liver
Liver function. Yeah.
so they're doing an ultrasound for that tomorrow just to make sure. She's like, you don't have fatty liver, but the way the numbers are, we just want to make sure it's not veering that way. So I have to have, so yeah, I just feel like this month I'm going to be getting all this stuff done, but at least it'll give me a base to know where I'm at.
Absolutely. Right.
And I'm going to just continue trying. I've never really tried hard,
Yeah.
and I feel like I should. Why not?
Yeah. No, I
Just
think I mean, when you get your car checked out and everything's fine and they did a few things to it and you drive out, you feel like, okay, my car is fine and I can drive it now and I don't have to worry about it. It's the same thing
yeah.
post physical, right? And, get the OBGYN appointment, do the mammogram, do the colonoscopy, get your blood work, and then you're right. You have a baseline in your early
Mhm.
50s and you're set.
Yeah, it just feels like such an old person thing to talk
Yeah.
about, and to do. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, I'm going in, you
I've
know?
got arthritis in my neck.
Yeah, when he said that, I was like, what? But, at the same time, I have done hair for
Yeah.
30 years.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that I don't have it everywhere,
I'm surprised your knees are still kind of
Right.
because that's a
Yeah.
lot of standing. I
It
mean, a
is.
lot, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess now's the time. I figure they say people live longer. So if I'm going to live to be 100, then I still have half my life left. So it might as well
Yeah.
be healthy.
And
And
you'll get some great grandchildren by that time. My
yeah,
gosh.
right. Yeah, exactly. So I figure why not? So that's what's happening right now. And then we'll just have a catch up in a couple of months and see if I'm sticking
Yeah.
with it. I need
I've
to
been
stick
thinking
with it.
about, it's kind of cheating. Like go make a an annual physical right after 75 hard. Like, yeah, doctor. This is how I always am, right?
This is the
And then
gold standard.
6 months later, 10 pounds heavier, haven't worked out in 3 months.
Right.
No,
Yeah, how's
I
so do you when you're done with 75 hard, when you finished it last time, did you
yeah.
try and stay with the habits
Yeah,
right
I did.
after?
Yeah. I mean, even more I mean, this time for sure. I mean, I'll definitely do one workout a day, right? Because that's not really hard and it becomes routine. Two is a little more difficult, right? You have to think about your day, like what's happening, because
Mhm.
I got to fit that second workout in, right?
Yeah.
So I went out with friends downtown. It's a few miles away. We had dinner and then I walked home, right? I brought my little vest, put the vest on and walked home at 9 o'clock at night. But that was the second workout that I needed to get in.
And you haven't missed one.
No, 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 no. I didn't
Gosh.
mean to act that way, but there's no way I'm going to miss one because if you miss one, you have to start all over again. I'm not starting all
Oh,
over
you did
again.
tell me
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
incentive right there to not, if you had to go all the way back to day one. I mean, if you're honest with yourself,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're day 32 and you go I mean, be furious.
but you can eat whatever.
Yeah, you can. You're not supposed to eat junk, but I'm not going to say it doesn't happen every now and then, but
Yeah.
you do watch it a little bit more, and because you are working out, so you have to eat a little bit more too. You kind of have to fuel the engine, so to speak.
Why
That
the weighted vest? It's already so much. Why are you doing more?
I don't know. I just thought it would be good to kind of just amp it up a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
Good
You
for
know, the
you. I mean,
The
kudos.
underrated part is the book, right? You're supposed to read 10 minutes a day of a self-help book. So,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So what is funny is that gets you into a mindset as well,
Oh,
right?
sure. That's good. What are you going to read next?
Uh Gosh, it's so funny because you just kind of tear through because it's crazy. If you do 5 pages a day, you whip through a self-help
Oh,
book,
yeah.
right? I
They're
mean,
usually pretty, yeah.
it takes no time at all. I think I have that longevity book sitting on a shelf somewhere that you and I've talked about is it David Sinclair's longevity book?
Oh, I love
But
him.
yeah, I think that's one I wanted to read, right? And we'll get him on the show and talk to him for sure, Don. So,
That would be
no problem.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
that
be
would be
amazing.
amazing. I need to go to the library and see if they have that book because I do want to read it. I watched a few of his videos and it made me start taking that reverse. How do you say it? It
Oh, I know what you're
rever
talking about. I don't know how
yeah,
to say it either. Is it
reversitol
Retrovol or
or
reverse?
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like it has the same kind of ingredients that red wine would have, and so I'm like, oh, let me just go buy boxes and boxes of wine, and I'll be the healthiest person ever.
You have
And
your little Chablis glass with you. I thought you weren't drinking. I am, but it's
you
truth
know,
serum.
it's so crazy though how we would travel, and Nathan has never been a drinker. Never, 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 never been a drinker. And so that's what our vacations, I would just be like, where's the liquor store? Where is it in proximity? I mean, it was part of the vacation process. God love him. I don't know how he dealt with that for all these years, but I just think about that. How many
Karen's mom
vacations?
had a little bar. It was a little box that is a bar. You open it up and it's a little bar and it fits 2 bottles of, I think, of wine or whatever. And then it has the little glasses and corkscrew and whatever here.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, and I think we have it. I mean, it's such a cute thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
let's take our little, totally 1950s, right? Let's take our bar to the park and picnic with our portable bar.
Yeah, that's so cute. Okay, so I did want to talk to you about this show that we started watching on Saturday called Scamanda.
Okay, so I didn't watch Scamanda, but it was on in the background because
Is that by
Karen
your
and Zoe
house?
watched Scamanda. And I think it's supposed to be, oh yeah, it's Scamanda, but it sounds like Scumanda when you look at it like
Well, some people
Scumanda.
might think that, but she's from South Bay. She's in a church in San Jose. Is that by you?
Yeah, San Jose is about 45 minutes away.
Okay. So, I mean, like right by you. And this church has like, I think they said 5,000 members. Huge, but they've only shown one episode.
Do you
Um,
want to give our lovely audience a quick breakdown of Scamanda?
Well, all you need to know, this is not a spoiler. They tell you right from the beginning that she was loved by so many and just a young girl and had little kids and came down with cancer and everybody started, feeling bad for her and her family and um basically at the end of the first episode they say it's no, she doesn't have cancer.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all a scam. And so now I'm left to wonder because they haven't addressed it yet. If the husband is in on it, how much he knew about it, because they don't
right.
really say. So I'm sure that'll end up getting. But yeah, fascinating. It's
It is
because you're
fascinating. And
sitting there
it's so,
watching it thinking, like, why are people not asking enough questions? Or how is she getting pictures in the hospital? How is she, because shaving your head, big whoop, anybody can go and shave their head. But there's
yeah,
like
I did
pictures.
ask that kind of out loud to Zoe and Karen, and they said, well, she could say she was dehydrated, right? And go
That's what
in
I said too to
for that.
Nathan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and get an
Because
IV. Yep.
yeah, for the listeners and or viewers, they show pictures of her shaved head in a bed with an IV, right? She is in a hospital. She took those pictures of herself in that hospital,
Right.
said she had cancer, and posted that continuously, right, throughout this scam. And it's, fires in LA or hurricanes or tornadoes, and people rush to relief because they want to
Yes.
help people. And
Yes.
in a huge church community, they want to help people even
Yeah.
more so.
Yeah.
And here someone is taking advantage of that, right? I mean, it's
Oh, to
just,
the extreme. And the lady that ended up turning her in was a former friend, but she was seeing that, like, eat at Chili's tonight and 10% will go to Amanda's family. Save Amanda. Go, it's like Ferris Bueller.
yeah,
Save
yeah,
Ferris. And
yeah,
so, yeah, people, and she's like, this is BS. I am not going to sit by and just and so she
yeah.
got the information to a lady that would investigate it. And yeah, my sister's like, you need to watch this. And at first I was like, well, it's kind of like already told the story right at the beginning. What else could you, but they show how it all progresses.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's horrible, right? And then
Yeah.
what happens is, right? Then unfortunately, the next cancer thing you see, and
Yeah.
we both have friends who send GoFundMe things, and I'm walking for the March of Dimes or this or that, and it makes you think, huh, is this real? Right? Is this a
Hmm.
scam, or how legitimate is this? And even all the topical now, the fires in Southern California,
Right.
you don't right away. There's a bunch of GoFundMe's and there's a lot of stuff, and it's like, where's that money going to? Is that
Hmm.
is it going to the multimillionaire whose mansion or burnt down and they have a ton of money and great insurance, or is it going to the person who is now homeless, has no friends, they lived in a place with six other people, and they need shelter? You know?
Right. Yeah. And then, yeah, like you said, where's it going? So are there some people that are more deserving of more? Like, well, they
Yeah,
lost their whole house and their dog and their jobs. And then you got somebody else where, they lost their dad, their
yeah,
dad passed in it. And
yeah,
well, how do they decide? Because then you do have churches that come forward and they want to help. And
yeah,
yeah. And then it's like, well, does somebody more deserving, somebody less deserving because they didn't have quite
yeah.
as much as somebody else?
I mean,
Yeah.
Don, when you stopped watching the news in 9/11, right? Remember, a terrible moment in our history, but another moment when we all kind of came together and people poured their heart and souls, I think, donating, the firemen and, just all those people, I don't know the number, 3,000 plus who lost their lives. And so there was that huge fundraiser and there was concerts and
Yep.
everybody was donating to the Red Cross. And then you kind of realized, and I hope I'm not getting this wrong, Red Cross, but like some of the money that goes to the Red Cross just went to the Red Cross to help what
Mm.
the Red Cross does around the world, not necessarily for the victims of the 9/11,
Oh,
right?
right.
But every family that had someone perish, I believe, in 9/11, and I hope my facts are straight, got over $1 million. Not that that is worth it, right? Not that they would
Oh,
ever
right,
trade,
right.
but I did feel like, wow, this kind of worked, right? 3,000 plus people died. The families each got $1 million to kind of hopefully help them out with some
Yeah.
other financial struggles in their life, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so it does work. Charity does work, right? It helps people, but
Right.
it's just such a scary thing because you just never know. Is that money going to someone, a family of the 9/11 victim or a fireman, or is it going to the International Red Cross, which is a great organization, but not necessarily where I meant to send my money,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah. And I know when my son and his wife had the tornado happen and they lost everything, there would be people like, I'm not going to go through GoFundMe because they take out a percentage. Just tell me what their Venmo information is and I'll just Venmo them money or I'll just mail them a check
I didn't know
because,
GoFundMe takes out a percentage.
yeah.
This is a funny story. I don't know how funny it is, but it's not quite Scamanda, but I was a little disturbed by it.
Yeah.
Uh, when the fires hit Maui, right? They burnt
Yeah.
Lahaina and whatever. I think that was last year or the year before.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, and a lot of families were displaced, right? And a friend that I had worked with, a close friend, he had a coworker who posted a GoFundMe because their house that was on the water beautiful 2-story,
Yeah.
I think with the swimming pool on the water, burnt to the ground, right? So posted that Airbnb, or excuse me, their house that burnt to the ground. It's so sad. Da da da. Help Julie and Matt re-establish. Blah blah blah. Well, then I find out it's an Airbnb. Julie and Matt don't live there. It's a
Oh,
second home in Hawaii
oh,
thing that they rent out. It's an income property. Yes, it's still burnt down. Sad for Julie and Matt, but this
right,
is not right. It was made out like their house burnt and they lost everything, not my rental property burnt down. So,
right.
and meanwhile, and these are both, probably 6-figure working adults with a lot of money in California, with a place in Hawaii. Meanwhile, there's locals that don't have any money, and
Right.
we're putting $100,000 in this GoFundMe account, watching it grow. So that's where things get crazy, right?
Yeah, yeah. And that's sad. It's
It
sad
is.
that it's like that. And people do get leery then to even
Yep.
give because it's like, I don't know who's getting this. I don't know where it's going. Is this even legit?
Yep.
God. Yeah,
Let's
I
do a
don't know.
GoFundMe, Dawn. We'll just do a GoFundMe for the podcast. Help Anthony get a hair transplant and
No. Would you ever, if you
oh
just
no,
had,
no, no, no.
would you ever get plastic surgery?
Probably not, unless I had some crazy scar or something. I'm not against people doing whatever they want. If
Yeah,
they
no,
want
I
a
just
tummy
mean you,
tuck or
you personally,
lift their
would you?
boobs or whatever. But I mean, I don't think I think I'd try and make my body better without a surgical knife, but I don't, I can't judge people who do, right?
Right. No, I just know myself. I would end up looking like Michael Jackson because I would start, I'd be like, just a little, and then
Yeah.
maybe a little, and then before you know it,
Yeah, and it
I
is
just
funny because you
can't
see people like
stop.
Kristen Bell obviously got a little bit of work done, and she had a show on Netflix. And I used to love
Who is
Kristen Bell.
that?
Not that I don't now. She was on she's married to Dax Shepard. She was on a lot of different shows. I'm forgetting.
Oh, yeah, I know who she is. She's had a
Yeah.
lot of work done.
Well, she had work done because on the latest Netflix show, where it's a show where she falls in love. It's a rom-com. She falls in love with a rabbi, and she's not Jewish, and they do this
Okay.
whole season. It's a great show.
She's
But Kristen Bell
adorable.
looks like Kristen Bell, just a little bit of like this Kristen Bell, right? And it's like, you're beautiful.
Oh,
Why, you know, age with beauty, right? You don't.
yeah,
I mean, Pamela Anderson doesn't even wear makeup anymore. Not that
I
she's
know.
but I
But
kind of
she,
respect that in a
yeah,
way,
yeah.
you know?
Well, and especially in their kind of culture where everything is looks based,
And Don, who are you
everything.
kidding? You can see the lips on most women. It looks horrible. Like they have these
Yeah.
big puffy lips, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And you're right. And the face just that isn't the face of a 60-year-old, right? It's a 6-year-old trying to make themselves look different. I don't
Right.
know.
Well, and that's why I think filters are so they mess with your mind too much because
A little
filters,
bit.
when people use them and they see their skin, no pores and flawless, and then it's like then you turn that filter off and you're disappointed with your own face. Like that's you have to walk around and look like you look. So,
Thank God you and I aren't on Tinder and single and looking for people
oh my
because
God, that
there's
is
a whole lot
no.
of that going on, right?
Yeah, like not even catfishing, but like actually just completely changing how you
Yeah,
look.
I think the number one story, and you had that dating coach guy on, but like
Yeah.
the number one story is people meet people, like they'll meet for coffee. Hey, Don, let's meet for coffee, right? And then, the picture I was thinking of or I saw of you was 10 years ago, right? It's like
Right.
the best, youngest picture 10 years ago. Well,
Right.
I mean, why? That's just, it's false advertising, really, right?
Yeah, and you're walking into it and knowing the person's gonna be let down.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
why
why
do
would you
that to
do that?
yourself?
Right? I
Yeah.
mean, maybe there's people that don't care, I guess, but I would be like, come on, that's a
That's
red
probably why
flag.
so many people get ghosted because the
Yeah.
other person doesn't wanna show up after they've
Yeah.
been basically misleading. But then you've got all the shapewear and everything that just makes you all Well, if things go well and then
Yeah.
you end up like it's like a can of biscuits.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. And then the thing just explodes.
Let me take my corset off.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, these are false boobs. And no, I don't have this butt. And I'm just going to peel back my wig. And
Take my hair out, take
I
my
don't have a
teeth out.
mustache. Your teeth.
Yeah.
I only have one tooth. Let me take my retainer out.
Yeah, would not want to be in the dating world. If
No.
I didn't work out with Nathan, that's it for me. I'm just going to stay where I'm at. I'm content just on my own. I don't want all that pressure. I
Yeah,
don't want all
I
that
I
pressure.
am glad that part of my life, and we'll have an episode on that, right? On our looking back on our lives, what we're glad is over,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But I do also want to get a matchmaker, somebody that's in that business that tries to fix up people and what they deal with, because it's probably way more than we even realize. A, because we're
Yeah,
not in it, and B, because there's so much more now with all the apps
absolutely.
and everything. It's not just a matter of just putting up your high school picture, you know?
And there's a few, I mean, I think there's a few shows on that. And I think, like you always, let's back to plastic surgery. There's probably a million great plastic surgery things that
Yeah,
I would never see and they look great. And the
right.
only ones that come to mind are the ones that are bad,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The
So,
botched jobs
so
are
maybe
just,
maybe maybe 90% are very successful, and then there's just the Kristen Bell tightly overdid it about a bit. But when it comes to matchmaking, the things I've heard, professional matchmakers, you come in, sit down, they interview you, they try and find you someone. There are cases where, sorry, Don, you're too dug in, you're not open, they'll like say you're unmatchable, right? Which it would be crazy if you sit through that interview.
yeah. Can you imagine?
No one really wants to be with you, Anthony, unless you change based on your personality.
Yeah. Or can you go do some push ups or some squats, for a couple of years and
Yeah.
then come back?
A
Then,
couple of
then we'll,
years.
yeah. Yeah. It's that confidence. It's like, or even now when I see some things that people will wear that are either my age or maybe not, they're even close to my age, that are just whatever age and they're wearing something. And I'm like, I want her mirror because my mirror is mean.
Yeah.
I want her mirror because she looks like she doesn't care what the mirror says. And
Yeah.
yeah, I wish I had that. But no, I think
It's
imposter syndrome is easy to have. Some people fake it to make it until
yeah.
they do feel confident. But yeah, I guess it depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's
But
here's here's two funny instances, right? So we've both been at a swimming pool at a hotel or a public swimming pool, right?
mhm.
And there is a very big overweight guy, right?
Mhm.
And that guy's in swim trunks and he's heavy and he's big and he doesn't care one
Right.
bit.
Yeah.
Jumps in,
Right.
swims in and out, da da da. Same scenario. You and I go to a dance club or at a wedding or
Right.
whatever, and some person who probably is not a good dancer at all is out there dancing and having
Right.
fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's funny is, maybe Anthony and sometimes in that situation would be, gosh, do I really want to jump in the pool? And I've gained 5 pounds and da da
Right.
da da da. And or yeah, I'll go out and dance, but okay, Karen kind of, whatever, buffer me a little bit. I love
Yeah.
to dance, but I love people who don't care, right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, everybody looking says, that's awesome that that guy's swimming and he's having so much fun. That's awesome that that person is dancing,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Nobody judges, but you think you're being judged,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so you don't do it because you're afraid you'll get judged. When the ballsy people with the Michael Chan or Yang of Yahoo just gets into that
Right.
boardroom or the guy gets on the dance floor, they just tear it up and they don't care, right?
Right. Yeah, I know. And if you had to give your kids some type of pep talk, you would tell them what you need to hear. But basically, like everybody else is more concerned with what they look like in a
Yeah,
swimsuit. They're not even thinking of you. Like, get over yourself. They're thinking of
exactly.
themselves. But when it's us in the situation, we're in our heads like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten what I did last night. I feel, fat, or everybody's
Yeah.
going to watch me
Yeah.
dance. It's like, excuse me. No, they're not.
Yeah.
Trust me, they're not.
It's not a ballet performance of Dawn on the dance floor. Just go out and have fun, right? But I think I don't know what it takes. It just takes some confidence and swagger to not care what other people think. And I think that's the point of this, right?
Yeah.
I think
Oh, yeah.
what is imposter syndrome? It's caring what other people think, kind of, and then
Mhm.
trying to work your way around that somehow, either
Right.
pretending or worried that you are pretending,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. When we were talking about dancing, I just remembered those friends when I went over to see them, and tell them about how I couldn't believe I wasn't drinking and that I wasn't craving drinking. When I got there, the one, Sandy, she said she was going to put on Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves when I walked in because she listened to the podcast about my past life regression. And I
Oh,
didn't
that's
know that
funny.
she listened. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, what did you think? I mean, it kind of put me on the spot because I don't know who listens. I don't,
Yeah.
for anybody that's listening or watching, we have no idea. I mean, unless you comment, it's just shows up as a view or a listen.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that she had listened. And so I was like, what did you think of that? And she was like, well, it was kind of crazy, kind of unbelievable. I said, yeah, it was. It was hard
I
for
went
me
on
to
a walk
believe.
with 4 other couples this weekend, and half of them didn't know I had a podcast, right? Half of them had never heard of it, right? And again, you kind of think, oh, it's on Facebook, or
Right.
people that know me will know, but they don't, right? They absolutely don't. So hopefully I recruited 3 other
And
couples to come, but
yeah, and you just hope
yeah,
that people
right?
like it, because it is vulnerable. You put yourself out there and it's like, I
Yeah.
hope people like it. But if they don't, they don't. There's a million
Yeah.
TV
And
shows
you've
out
done it.
there.
I mean, you've done it for 3 years. So
Yeah.
you're at peace, right? I mean, and you're good at it and you're at peace. So,
Well, I
you know,
appreciate you saying that, but I still get nervous, especially now that you're on board. And when we have guests, it's kind of overwhelming to have all these people. And I want to just seem like I know what I'm doing and not call people the wrong name like I did last week. But yeah, it's
yeah.
like
And Dr. Pam's eyes are kind of darting back and forth to both of us on the screen, which
yeah.
I thought was kind of interesting because we haven't experienced that before, right?
Right. Yeah. And I get overwhelmed easy anyway. So it's still intimidating at times. Even things that you do all the time, you can still get intimidated. I
Yeah.
do not have the guts of the people that are 100 pounds overweight jumping in the pool. I don't have
Yeah.
that. But
But we should have that, right? I
yeah.
mean, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, you never leave a wedding and say, God, they had really crummy napkins. I mean, people don't care. They just
Yeah.
don't, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
there was a really horrible dancer on that dance floor. I mean, they don't. They
Yeah,
don't.
because
So you
even if
should
they're
have
dancing
fun.
bad, they're dancing.
Yeah,
Kudos
exactly.
to them for getting out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I thought this was fun. I like just doing kind of catching up stuff. I think we should do more of these.
It's Dawnversations, so we should. Of
Oh,
course.
with Anthony.
Oh, yes,
Yes.
of course.
All right. Well, I guess if that's all we've got, we'll catch up in a couple of weeks and see if you've finished 75 hard. What's the
Oh,
date?
God. It is March 16th, the day before St. Patrick's Day. So there's
Oh,
a Guinness in my future.
you'll be drunk after one.
Yeah, be passed out by 9 a.m. on St. Patrick's Day.
That's the best. That is the best. I love it. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we will be in touch. See you later.
Yeah, ciao.
Bye.
Dawnversations with Anthony. Real talk, good vibes, and positivity. Big laughs, deep thoughts, and life's explorations. Bringing you joy through conversations. Ooh.